What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back here to the Diamond Lion. And today we are back in Walt Disney World. It's been a little while. I apologize for it being so long since we've been back here, but we are back today, and this is kind of a sad video. This is a video that I really needed to make on this channel because this is one of the things for Disney that probably is, I would say, if it's not the number one, it's absolutely top 3 things in Walt Disney World that I look forward to the most. And I'm kind of jumping on the bandwagon with a lot of people here, so take with this what you will, but I wanted to give my opinion on the matter. So of course today we are here in Walt Disney World, in specifically Hollywood Studios, formerly MGM Studios, which obviously plays a factor in what we're going to be talking about today. So recently there's been a lot of discussion in Walt Disney World about what's going on with specific areas and Rivers America, what we've heard about with Tom Sawyer Island and that whole area. But Disney has stepped up their game in terms of really upsetting the Disney fan base by announcing pretty much they're going to be closing Muppet Vision 3D and closing that entire back area of the park where Muppet Courtyard and over by Grand Avenue. And what's interesting is Disney has not actually given a press release saying they're actually closing Muppet Vision yet. This is all from other sources that are not specifically from the actual Disney website or the Disney social media platforms. This has all been kind of external stuff. But we need to talk about this because this is an area of Walt Disney World that I think, in my opinion, is actually the most important. I think the reason, and this might sound a little bit odd to a lot of you, but what actually got me so interested in Disney was the Muppets. I grew up, my family had VHSs of Fraggle Rock and things like that, and that is what got me down the path of really falling in love with Disney. And I think when you look at the branding between Walt Disney World and Walt Disney and Jim Henson, it's pretty easy to see that the visionary of both of those people is so intertwined, and it makes so much sense, that marriage between the Walt Disney Company and Jim Henson. And I've made videos in the past talking about how the Muppets were supposed to have a bigger presence here in Walt Disney World, and how this whole area that's now going to be changing was actually slated to be an entire Muppet Studios and a Muppet Land area. So kind of going to what we're hearing, basically they're talking about turning this whole area into Monstropolis and turning this into a Monsters Inc. land. So basically from where I'm standing right here all the way to the back is going to be all Monsters Inc. Now, what a lot of people will say is that, well, nobody comes back here, right? The Muppets are not the IP that once was. And I think it's pretty easy when looking back. A lot of the reason the Muppets are not as relevant as they probably should be is because of Disney's mismanagement of the Muppets. And people will say, well, they've given the Muppets opportunities. They've given them a new Muppet Mayhem show, which we will get to all that in a minute. But they've given the Muppets opportunities, right? They've given them 2 movies. They've given them a TV show. They rebooted the Muppet Babies. What more could you want from Disney's end? And I think it's the lack of real creativity from the Disney company with the Muppets. It's not that they aren't using them. It's just they're not using them the way they're really the Muppets are meant to be kind of shown. And it all started with those weird like offshoot like The Office Muppet shows and things like that, and in concept they seemed okay, but they were just really poorly executed, and people that weren't Muppet fans didn't like it, and people they were maybe trying to bring into that audience, nobody liked it. And that's really where Disney really fell short is not only did they, not make the Muppet people happy, but they really kind of didn't make anybody happy. By trying to appease everybody, they really appeased nobody. That was the quintessential example of that. And I feel like I'm jumping all over the place because there's just so much to get to here, because there's so much that the lore of the Muppets with the Disney company before Disney actually bought the Muppets. I just feel like it's a little bit all over, but Disney, really what it comes down to is Disney's kind of mismanagement of the Muppets. The original voice after Jim Henson, Steve Whitmire, they decided to let him go, which obviously a lot of people are not happy with, and including myself. The kind of, getting rid of people like Frank Oz, who were such an important role in Fozzie and Miss Piggy, and I think really when you want to talk about the Muppets and kind of how they've mishandled them is, I think Muppet Vision really encapsulates everything that was so great about the Muppets. The using the environment and allowing the environment to kind of like, that's where Muppets live. That's where the Muppets should be. And when you look at the Studio One company store, right? Like, you have the little cubbies of the different Muppets, and you're like, yeah, without having a sign that literally says this is Miss Piggy's or this is Kermit's stall, like, you knew it was theirs without even having their name on it. And that's just what the Muppets were. Like, the way they were able to execute certain things, it just made sense. And how Sam the Eagle and Chickens were always in a scene together, because that just seemed like it made sense. And as silly as that sounds, all those little details are what made Jim Henson such a incredible innovator. And just the things that you wouldn't think anything about like that were what made the Muppets what they were. And now we're hearing about, closing Muppet Vision and the legacy of Jim Henson being away and kind of thrown out really is a shame. And it's one of those things that in the future I think Disney would really regret getting rid of Muppet Vision 3D. I think it would be a huge miss by the Walt Disney World higher ups. I understand that change is inevitable and things happen, but I just think the way they're going about this is really horrible. And I think there's obviously more going on behind the scenes, and I think what's frustrating too is Disney could very easily, the way that this whole thing is laid out, you could very easily keep Muppet Vision, keep this entire Muppet area. You blow out the Studio One company store, because as much as I think this is probably the gem of this whole area, I understand how the foot traffic is a little weird, and it would definitely open things up getting rid of the company store. But very easily, this entire area can stay. Keep Muppet Vision. Keep this whole Muppet area on this side. And then over here, which used to be the last time this was not backstage, this was the back here was a Lights Motors Action, and then over here used to be the Hunchback Theater, and this also used to be like a Lightning McQueen and Phineas and Ferb meet and greet. That's the last time this area was utilized. This is going to be the Monsters coaster, so the Monsters Inc. coaster is still going to be back here. They could still do that and then keep Muppet Vision here. And then if you blow out the Studio One company store, which I don't love that idea, but let's say you took away the second floor of Pizza Rizzo and you turn that into a store, and then you put a flat ride back here. So you have another Muppets attraction back here. A flat ride takes up some capacity, takes out some of the, the issues with some of Disney's Hollywood studios, which is kind of the lack of attractions. You create a lot of capacity in an easy way, really. Redevelop this little spot, and you still get the expansion of Monsters Inc. without losing the Muppets. Because let's be honest, whatever they're going to replace that Monsters show is not going to be as good as whatever Muppet Vision was. It's just, I really find that hard to believe. And the fact that we don't even know what the details of that Monsters Inc. attraction is even more kind of upsetting. because it seems like they don't even know really what they're putting in the theater, but yet there's so much legacy and so much like in this building. And you talk about all the props that are here, the key under the mat, and there's actually a key under the mat. And this is probably the best pre-show in all of Walt Disney World. And I would even argue all of the Disney parks. And they're just going to throw that away. That is really upsetting. And I know I'm a huge Muppet fan, and it's easy for me because you could easily say there's bias. But you can't really tell me that without any concept art that you're okay with getting rid of something. Like, imagine they got rid of Haunted Mansion. We're getting rid of the Haunted Mansion and we're putting a villain's ride there, but you have no idea what that villain's ride is. How horrible is that? You don't even know what it's being replaced with, so it's very easy to say, well, you don't know what it's being replaced with. Maybe it's better than Muppet Vision. Yeah, but then actually give us that detail. Show us what it's going to be. You're not even going to care. I would rather hear, yeah, you're not even going to care about Muppet Vision because we're plussing it. This attraction is going to be 10 times better than Muppets. They couldn't even do that. This is all just concept without any real concrete action. And I think that's really a disservice, not only to the Disney fans and the Muppet fans, but to Jim Henson and his legacy. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. And if you're watching this video, you probably agree with me a little bit. But it's really upsetting. And I really hope Disney... I mean, the attraction isn't blown out yet. And there hasn't even been a closing date announced. But you really wonder what Disney's idea of this was, because this is really just such a great area of the park, and the only reason there's not much foot traffic is because this used to be a path to New York Street, or to Lights Motors Action, or to the theater. There's no reason to go through here because it's a dead end. You put Monsters Inc. here, and you keep Muppet Vision the way it is, you're instantly going to be adding foot traffic and capacity. That is legit expansion for Disney's Hollywood Studios. I love the idea of putting a Monsters Inc. door coaster back here because you're taking away parking lot space and putting an attraction back here. You're creating capacity. That's great. And even if you were to take away Mama Melrose and you were to turn this into the Henry Housen's sushi bar or whatever, I'll even meet you halfway there. But why are we getting rid of Muppets? That's the part that I have a hard time understanding. Because you look in Magic Kingdom, there's plenty of areas where you have a little mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh area, and then you've got the Mad Tea Party teacups right next door. So why can't you do something like that here? Why is that like not allowed? It has to be an entire land. Why is that the case? And to be honest with you, as immersive as it might be with the Monsters Inc. land, how popular really of an IP is that? I mean, Monsters Inc. as a movie came out like 20 years ago. So is that really what kids are even going after today? I think a lot of people are upset with losing Dino Land, but if you could sell me on a brand new area from a brand new IP like Encanto, I can meet you halfway with that. And I think, honestly, whatever was going to replace Muppets, people were going to be upset about, including myself. But at least make me feel like you're going to really be improving the area. And to be honest with you, the concept, it just isn't really that inspiring and doesn't really give me much hope for what they're replacing is going to be much better. And I think the reason it's so vague is because, in all honesty, I think to some extent Disney knows this area is not going to be as good as what it's replacing. And when you already have so much bad PR with the Tom Sawyer Island thing and replacing some of the things Disney's already replaced, this is really the bane, I think, of what people are feeling with Disney right now. It's just really frustrating with how they've handled so many aspects of really Walt Disney World, of all the parks. But to me, this is the one that really hurts the most out of anything. I was really upset to lose, the Backlot Tour. I was really upset to lose Streets of America. But you could understand the magnitude of what they were getting with Star Wars. Why? I could understand that. As much as it upset me, I was willing to understand what they were doing. But with this one, it just seems like it's so mismanaged and it seems like such a just a horrible move by Disney. I feel that way. And there's so much you can do with this area of the park to plus the Muppets. I mean, Disney had a layup. I don't know if you guys remember in the mid 2010s when the first Muppets the reboot, the Muppets movie came out. First movie with Walter, right? We had this store that was kind of dying even back then in 2015, this kind of dying Christmas tree store. And at the time, I don't even know if Pizza Rizzo even turned over to Pizza Rizzo yet. How easy would it have been to take out this Christmas store, which I do love, but taking this wonderful Christmas store, taking it out, and making this an FAO Schwartz build your own Muppet area. It was a layup for Disney. It was a layup. And you look at some of the things they've done, the having your own Banshee, creating your own lightsabers, all those experiences, Disney had a layup in their pocket with Muppets. Build your own Muppet. And they didn't do it. There is money to be made with the Muppets. But it just seems like at every turn, Disney has just not known how to use the Muppets, even though it's staring them right in the face. And I think that's what's so frustrating about this entire thing, is the fact that fans can come up with these ideas, and maybe it wouldn't be exactly Muppets, like build your own Muppet with FAO Schwartz, but how hard would that really be? How difficult would that truly be for Disney to find a way? Michael Eisner was always able to find a way to bring in the Power Rangers, to bring in Barbie, to bring in the Muppets. And it just seems like maybe because Bob Iger didn't actually acquire the Muppets franchise, and that was a kind of seen as a Michael Eisner acquisition, that he just wanted nothing to do with this IP. And it's almost like they legged it along enough just to appease the fans, saying, well, we're trying, but it's not working. But the visionary is not there. And that's pretty clear. Man, I've definitely gone on a little bit of a tirade today. And I apologize, guys. But I think most of you will understand the frustration and why I think so many people are upset with what Disney's doing here. Because this is such a missed opportunity. And the way that they've kind of taken Muppet theming away from this area. I mean, this area used to have a beautiful Kermit the Frog hot air balloon right up there, right on top of that clock tower. And yeah, it ruined the sightlines for Star Wars. Well, you're telling me they couldn't have moved it, say, on this side? Or they couldn't have put it on top of the Studio One store? Or they couldn't have put it on the top of this little kiosk? You're telling me they couldn't find any way, or to replace it in some way? Or when they took down the old Muppet Vision Kermit the Frog sign that was here and made it look like a very temporary Grand Avenue Arts Theater sign? It just seemed like any opportunity Disney had to pull away Muppet theming from this area, they did. And even pulling away the Kermit and Miss Piggy mural that used to be right on the side here and turning into pretty much what we see here, a gray wall. Why? Back in the day, there used to be a Miss Piggy like marquee sign on the backside of Muppet Vision. Now I understand this is backstage area now, so it used to sit like right over here. I understand why maybe Disney didn't want that there anymore. But it's just really sad how they've kind of handled some of the things they've been doing. And I'd love to be more positive, because look, on the other side, they're going to have Rock and Roller Coaster turning into the Muppets ride. But this isn't the Muppets ride that we've really been asking for. And I just think back, like, if I was the Imagineer at Disney, you want to add capacity to Hollywood Studios. You have a plot of land here where you could very easily add a Star Wars attraction right here, right behind this berm. There's room for a Star Wars edition if they wanted to. So you've got that area. Then you've got, if you really want to, blow out Studio One Company Store. You were going to do that anyway. Put a spinner ride here. Put a Muppets themed spinner ride, and or even a carousel. What if you put like different Muppets on a carousel? Like, how awesome would that be? Kind of like what they're doing at Animal Kingdom, but Muppets. You keep the whole Pizza Rizzo thing here, and the second floor, because this is a lot of restaurant space, why don't we turn this into what Studio One Store was and just put it up here, and all the props, put that up here. You don't even need animatronics, just put that up here. And then, like I said, over here you've got your Muppet flat ride. You add capacity, you keep the store, you keep that, you force people to go up into Pizza Rizzo. That's an easy one. FAO Schwartz, talk to them, get Muppet Whatnots in here. You should have done it 10 years ago, but now's as good a time as any to re-implement that. Why not? The area is here anyway. So you've got that. And then back here, you turn Mama Melrose. You still turn that into Harryhausen's, whatever that is, the sushi. You turn that into this little Monsters Inc. area. And then back here, the old Phineas and Ferb, Lightning McQueen area, you turn this into the Monsters Inc. ride, like you were going to do anyway. You keep Muppet Vision here. You don't even have to touch it. You just updated the seating. Keep that there. Right? It just seems like some of the things Disney does, it's like they're trying to go cheap, but sometimes it's like, are you putting money in the right places? It just seems like that's already good there. Why are they taking out that? That's the thing they're taking out right now. And you look at over here, as much as I love the nostalgia and the theming of the Backlot Express, this is not a great area, really. It doesn't even really fit with Hollywood Studios anymore. Why not turn something like this into, we love the Nightmare Before Christmas theming. Put Nightmare Before Christmas back here as a full stay area. You want to add more attractions? You want to add foot traffic to Hollywood Studios? I think that's a great place to put something like Nightmare Before Christmas back here. So you've got that. Then, let's head over to Rock and Roller Coaster. You're putting the Muppets ride back there. Well, at this point, if you're going to blow up Muppets, you're going to take out that Monsters Inc., you're going to turn that into a fully Monsters Inc. area. Let's say they do that. Well, now, let's warp over to Rock and Roller Coaster. Let's see. Warp, Rock, and Roller Coaster. There we go. So you're going to put the Muppets right here. You're going to have the Muppets. Well, the demographic really doesn't fit families. This is not a family attraction. This is a big boy roller coaster. So why don't you put in that beautiful theater right over here that you can literally see from here, why don't you put a Muppets recreation of Muppet Vision 3D right in that building? It is perfectly usable. Right after that Villains attraction is set up, and they've got the Villains Land done, in a couple of years, 3 years, come up with an incredible Muppet Vision 3D legacy attraction for Jim Henson. You have 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to come up with that concept and put this into a new Muppets courtyard. This is a layup for Disney. There's already nothing back here. This is easy. This is easy money for Disney. This is an easy area. If you're not going to do my first idea, which is to keep Muppets, if that's really what they're sold on doing, there's a Muppet theater waiting right here. And the Muppets are just waiting for their opportunity. They're poking over the fence, just waiting for their opportunity to have another attraction back here. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of Muppets coming to this area? It's so frustrating the way Disney has kind of handled it. And like I said, I try to be positive in these videos, but this is one I just really have a hard time with, Disney. Please, please find a way to keep Muppet Vision 3D at Disney's Hollywood Studios. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked the video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys again next time.